What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Kart 6T3. My name is Ben. Thank you very much for stopping by and checking out this channel and, this video, because that's why you're here. You're watching me, this video. Okay. If you didn't mind, sometime during the video, hitting a like on the video, that would be great. Did I say video too many times there? Video. Anyway, if it's your first time here or you like this type of content, if you could please subscribe, that would be great as well. I really do appreciate every single one of you who come here and check this stuff out. Today, we are going to talk about cutting tires. Now, I know that I have done a video in the past about why one would cut tires. Now, there's all sorts of tire machines, people that you can have cut tires. If you're buying from a supplier, say Latest Karting, for instance, they will have your tires cut and prepped and stuff for you. It's just one of the suppliers that I get my stuff from. But if you don't have a tire cutter, what would you do if you wanted to cut tires? Well, full credit where credit is due. James Stanley of Phantom Racing fame. We'll say fame, sure. Super nice guy. He's always answered all of my questions. He actually works at Phantom down there in, is it China Grove, North Carolina? He works there. He works for Phantom. He races on a Phantom, and he runs all over the place, does his own tires. He assembles karts. I believe if you buy a Phantom kart, you can actually pay the man in order to professionally set it up for you. That type of, resume stands behind this man. Well, anyway, he did a video last year sometime on actually cutting tires at home on a tire surfacer, and I knew that it was possible. I didn't know that people did it. I always thought it was like a Jones cutting machine or something else with templates, and you had to invest this great amount of money in order to cut tires. Well, you don't. Now, I will say using this method that you're going to be watching is going to take some time to figure out. So I took some footage last night. I cut some Maxxis tires, or it was basically a junk Maxxis tire. It was from the Grand Nationals. The edge was gone. It was whooped. I didn't care that I destroyed the tread on it. So perfect, way to practice. And then secondary, I tried a Burris because I know the Burris tire is most definitely a different type of rubber, and I wanted to have an idea of what that felt like to cut that. So I got all this footage from the go. The first time I ever laid hands on cutting a tire, I got film of that, and I'm going to share it with you. And I'll probably, during all the footage, I'll probably do some talk over, some voiceover action there, because I didn't want to talk while I was doing it. I thought it'd be silly. I screw up a couple times. I believe I lose the blade one time. It kind of chucks out of my hand. 1 second here. Okay, I am back. I forgot to grab this real quick because I was doing this intro. This is actually what I'm talking about. Now, I'm a body man. It's a little dirty. It's still got rubber on it from being used. So I'm a body man by trade. I work on cars. You hit a deer, you bring it to me. I will repair your vehicle and get it back to you like new condition. That's what I do. Well, when you apply body filler back in the olden days, actually before my time, although I've used these before, you would put your Bondo on, and then while it was not completely hard, you would take these and there would be a handle, and you would shave off Bondo in order to get a panel straight. These are Stanley. I'll have the part number. Maybe I'll put it right here. If I think to do it. I'll do the picture-in-picture and put a picture of this. You can get these on Amazon. You can get these I got this single one from eBay because I wanted to try it out before I bought. I think they sell them in 3-packs, 5-packs, something like that. It actually comes as a whole, and what James had suggested was they're easier to handle if you break them in half. I cut mine in half just for easily manipulation, so you can actually get on there and feel the tire and everything instead of holding this big long blade. I thought that was a really good idea. I tried it as a long blade at first, and then off camera I cut it in half, and I came back and I did some more footage with it. So this is, like I said, it's gonna take some time. If you're going to do this, I would suggest use junk tires. Like I said, Maxxis I have. I wasn't going to race it anymore. It was going to get pitched, so I didn't care what I did to it if I dug grooves in it. Now, there seems to be a process to this. Not only he suggested he likes simple green. Between every time cutting, you want to lubricate with simple green. I had Windex. I sprayed Windex on there and did the cut. So in between every one, you'll see me spray it down and get that lubrication on there to make the cut easier. But I found on the Burris, I actually like the cut maybe a little better without the lubrication. But it's the first time, this is my opinion on this. Very well may change over the time if I'm going to get into cutting my own tires. And, basically up here, up north, we tend to run thicker tires anyway. If I'm using this for anything, it would be to resurface, kind of, just like you would a surfacer, to get a layer of the old rubber off, maybe true up a tire, because it's going to be spinning in the same thing. You're not going to be going in and out. You're going to be dragging this across, and it should true up the surface a little, so maybe a little smoother run, maybe a little more roll speed. I mean, it can be kind of hard to measure that, I guess. But anyway, we're going to dive up close. I'll try and leave all the information for what this cutter is. It's not for everybody. I don't want to say that, and I don't know how much I'm going to use it, but it may turn into something that I do use more often. But it's definitely something I'm going to have to get the hang of. James did a fantastic video on it. If I can link his Facebook video on this, I'll put it in the drop-down menu, because he's the person that I was kind of, going after. Like, all right, he showed me how to do it, or this video showed me how to do it. Now it's up to me. I had to get the information, what this was, and how to go about doing it. It's going to take a lot of trial and error. It's just as simple as anything else. You don't know, you're not going to jump into the ring and be the best every single time. This is going to take a little adjustment period. So we're going to dive up close. We're going to show you me actually cutting these tires and show you what that looks like. And you can go from there and decide whether or not it is for you or not.
Okay, everybody, I have now cut the cutter in half, and I'm trying it. So you may have noticed in the footage before, I was trying different angles. I was trying to hold it at an angle, but honestly, what feels best is straight on. Now, because the cutter is actually concave, you have to be very at least from my experience, very light to the touch with this, or else you're going to get some grooves. Now, I will agree with James that it is a little easier to manipulate the cutter. See here, I'm trying to roll it on its edge to see if it would cut. And it doesn't seem to have the same bite, maybe a little bit. But the flatter you hold the cutter, the better cut you get. And you get these little ribbons of, essentially plastic. That's Maxxis are primarily like a plastic type tire. At least, that's what it feels like. Now, I'm trying to cut now. I'm playing around with, just a little here and there. I tried to run without some lubrication, and it does all right, but when you don't run the lubrication, you feel it grab. And, if you decide to do this and you try it, you're going to know the exact feeling I'm talking about. So with the lubrication, this guy glides easy across there, no problem. Just drag it across, nice and slow, nice and slow. And that's what James was saying to me, that it takes time to know how fast or slow you can drag the blade across the tire in order to get that smooth finish. And here, I decided I was going to spray them down, and I was going to run a little bit of 80 grit sandpaper over it because of the grooves when you're rolling your hand across the tread. The cutter, because I'm not seasoned in this enough, I was getting these little grooves. There was a texture coming across it, and I thought, well, maybe if I use some sandpaper, I can smooth that out. But I think you have to be more aggressive than that, and that was my thought during this process here. I was just cleaning the tire, see what it would look like after I was done. But I'm gonna come in and do something a little different here shortly. And I thought I'd go handheld here. These are, yes, this is, you see the grooves that I'm talking about. I run my finger across here. Those are where I was too aggressive getting into the tread. That is definitely something I'm going to have to work on, keeping the pattern as smooth as possible. Okay, now on to some Burris. This is a Burris left rear, a 6.0 for you people recording at home. And I knew immediately that this was going to cut differently. Anybody who's ever handled a Maxxis versus a Burris, they are completely different types of rubber, and you can see it here on the cutter. As it's going through, it isn't making shavings as much as it's almost like a cheese grater, type of scenario where it's not chunking it, but it's making littler cuts that aren't stringing together like I would assume, the more plastic style of the Maxxis tire. And that grinding stone is definitely the way to go over the lap disc, at least because my lap disc was quite worn out, but it definitely took those the little ridges out of the cut. Now, Burris seemed to cut a little easier for me than the Maxxis did, but that's just me.
Okay, what'd you think about all that? Hopefully my editing went pretty well. I always think it's weird when I just trail off videos with footage of me doing something without actually doing an outro of sorts, but it just, I had to add this in, because you guys like to listen to me talk, right? I'm sure some of you are quite sick of it already. Anyway, I hope that at least gave you guys an idea of what it's like to cut tires at home. Like I said, this is the first time. That is the first footage of me even attempting to do it, whether or not, I got the hang of it. It was okay. I get the concept of the grinder disc, though. Now, lap disc may work well, but the stone seems to, I think what that is there's little ripples that get left sometime when you're cutting the tire, so you're getting that the thickness of the tread down to where you want it, but sometimes it'll leave these little type of waves. You can feel it. You'll see in the video, if I didn't already explain it, you can feel those ridges, and what I think when you come over with a grinder, it will flatten those ridges out, so it'll actually smooth the tread out. So there you go, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I guess we'll do it again next week, as always. All right, later.